Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. I was watching a video this morning by Mark the Shark. He's a dedicated Global War 1936 player. He does some pretty good videos, but for Father's Day yesterday he got himself a tripod. His wife and his daughter got him a tripod for his camera. Man, what a huge difference that made. And you know, I've been using tripods since day one, and they were hard to get a few years ago when I started because they were fairly new, right? Plus, they were fairly expensive and stuff. And so I think I was the first person in our community that makes these kind of videos that started using those, right? And I think that might have been why I got so many subscribers, because my videos were easier to watch. Like you're not, see, I'm holding my camera up in the air right now. People, they're just, you know, you're walking around and it just kind of makes you wonky, right? Whereas with a tripod, you can just set the camera down and then you don't touch it anymore, and then you can start talking, right? And then, okay, you've said something about that, then you move it over here and you talk about this, right? Anyway, so I'm a big fan of tripods, right? And I've evolved over the years. I think I have 4 or 5 different kind of tripods, and I'll show you some of the ones, and I'll switch cameras as well too. But I thought I'd make this video to encourage people to use tripods and to show you where that can lead, like just how far you can take this, and I haven't even taken it all the way. But I'll show you some of the other things that I use, some of the tricks of my trade for what I'm doing. So when I first started, I was using what I'm holding in my hand right now. It's, well, actually the tripod itself is something I lost at the Grasshopper tournament in 1917, or sorry, 2017. Oh, that would have been a long time ago, wouldn't it? That would have been 2 pandemics ago. Anyway, so, but the tripod isn't really important. It's what goes on top of the tripod that's important. The connecting device and stuff like that. I mean, to a certain extent, the legs matter too. But anyway, that's the only thing I lost was the legs. But anyway, this is what I had, is what I'm using right now. Basically, these are just different legs. And as far as what's on the table, doing some play testing of the 1914 game. We're not going to talk about that at all. We're just talking about the things that I use. Anyway, so then I went to something like this as well. So this thing here, you can put your camera in here and then you can close it down, right? And so it'll hold any camera. The one I've got now is Specialized, and I'll show you that afterwards. It's a hit case. Like this one over here is a hit case, and you can see that there's a lens on there. Well, I've got a lens on this one, but that's only because I have the case, and you buy the lenses with the cases, and you can get different kinds of lenses. So this lens here is it's a wide angle lens, so I can get really up close to the action there, and then you can see more of it. Like if I took the lens off right now, you would only see a little over half of what you're looking at now. So anyway, that's what I like the lens for. And you can see how I've like, instead of standing the legs straight up and down, I bend them like that. For me, that means more stability. Plus, it gets me down closer to the table. I don't need to be this high off the table. I'm this high right now because I'm showing stuff that are above the table. But when I'm looking at something, I want to get right down to where the action is, right? So that you can see better what we're looking at. Anyway, so then the next thing that I started doing was this year, and that is I went and bought some lights. So you see here, this is actually the first light I bought, is this one here. And then I wasn't too happy with it. This is the same brand, except for it was $10 more. Believe me, pay the extra $10 and get a good one. But there's all kinds of different kinds of lights and everything. Like I looked at lights for like a month, right, before I finally settled on that one over there. And then I thought, well, geez, I should have got the good one. So I did, and it was only an extra 10 bucks. I think this one was $35 Canadian off of Amazon, which would be a lot cheaper American, right? Probably 20-25 bucks American. And then I got this microphone because this thing right here, this hit case that I'm using. I thought it would be great. The video is certainly better. I'm using an iPhone 6 with right now. This is an iPhone 8, and with every iteration, there's a better camera in it, and so I wanted to use that. But with this case that I got, it's completely enclosed. You couldn't hear what I was saying. But now I've got a microphone. In this particular one, there are so many different kinds of microphones, it's not even funny. This one here is called a shotgun microphone, which means it's just for this direction. Like, you can get microphones with either wires or not wires that clip onto your lapel. There's all kinds of microphones. You get microphones that would pick up the whole room. The thing about this microphone is that I pretty much have to be standing over here or somewhere around it in order for the microphone to pick me up, because it's a directional microphone. So that's the thing about shotgun microphones, is they come straight out the direction that they're facing, right? And so anyway, that's what I'm using now. And the fact that I had two lights really helped me, because like, you see the picture here now, right? Well, let's turn this light on. So there you can see the picture there, and you can see really good, like right here, right? But in the back here, it's really quite dark, right? And so what I had for a while was I had the microphone in the middle, and then I had a light on each side, and that was pretty good light. Like, it was a little bit better than what this is. But then I found, you know what? I've got extra tripods. Why don't I try moving some of my light? So there I go. Like, I've got a light over here as well, right? So here, let me just turn that off. We'll see what the difference is. So you see in the background there, I turned it on. Now I can move this around and get it to where I want. Now, that's not something that you're going to do as you're making a video on the fly. Like, say you're doing some game video or something like that. That's not what you want to do. But for instance, when I did the Swiss cheese video, the German strategy video, I took my time, right? And I staged everything. I got the camera in the right spot. I got the lighting all good. And then I would start making a video with this camera here, right? But I was able to do that because I had all day to do it, right? It actually took me a couple of days to do that because I did a lot of editing as well. And one thing that didn't work out well, though, is that I had all of these things stuck onto here. Like, I had the camera on here and I had the light on that, and that didn't work out so well because it was too flimsy. It was top heavy. So even if I just touched the table just a little bit, every time I leaned against the table, the camera would shake. And if you see that German video, you see there's a lot of this. Every time it seemed like I moved, then it would go like that, right? So then my son came over and he was looking at it, and well, I can make you something, Dad. He's an amazing fabricator, right? He makes accessories for trucks and things like that. He works with aluminum and steel and everything. So he made this thing. This is made out of steel. And then of course there's the stuff on top. Like, all he gave me was just this part down here, the three legs, right? But it's really heavy, right? And I thought, oh, that's just too much, right? Like, I'll never be able to use that. And this thing here was, I forgot about this. This thing here was cool too. This allowed me to attach more things. Like, on that thing there, I could only attach one light. I couldn't do the microphone. Hang on a second, let me get that phone. Okay, so my mom has a knack of calling when I'm in the middle of making a video. Anyway, I couldn't attach a whole bunch of things to that one over there. So I bought this one here, and you can attach a bunch of stuff to it. Like, there's another spot over here. You can attach things on the side. Like, there's all kinds of things. But again, it made it so top heavy that it would just shake around, right? So getting these legs on it was perfect. And I thought, okay, yeah, but the legs are too wide, and it's not going to work very well. Well, then I put underneath these things, I put the fuzzy stuff. I'll show you that stuff later. It's the kind of thing you would put under a couch or some chairs or a table in your living room, right? And I'll show you that, like I said. But I just cut it so small. But what I do like about it is now I can move this thing around, and it's really, really smooth. Like, this thing here, when I had it on here, when I moved it around here, I'll just set this down and show you. Okay, so when I move, you see how jerky it is, right? That's because it kind of skids along. Whereas this thing here is really, really smooth because it's heavy and because of the slidey stuff that it's under, right? Now, I can't just plow right through Europe there with all the pieces on the board, but I can, like, if I'm careful, what I'll do is I'll just pick it up from here, I move it over here, and then I'm like that, and then I can just move it around really slowly. It's like it's hovering over the air, and it doesn't make sounds, and it doesn't skid across the table. So that was definitely an upgrade when I got that thing right. That's the best thing that I've ever had for making videos. Now that's, like when the spring offensive happens, when I go over to make a video of gameplay, I might not take this whole thing with me, right? Because it's big and it's bulky and stuff, right? I might just take one of these things with my camera, right? I mean, that's good enough, and the lighting in Panzer King's Lion's Den is really good. So, I might just do that instead. Like, I don't need this whole setup, right? Anyway, so that's that. That's something that's been a real upgrade. But at the bare minimum, though, just go get yourself one of these things. Like, they're only like $10-15 for a cheap one. I mean, you can go up to about $80, but I'll tell you though, the $80 ones aren't 10 times better than the $15 ones. And then, like somewhere down the road, if you want lights or microphones, you can get into that too, right? Anyway, so let's go take a look at some of the other things that I've got going on here. Let's just go out to the table where I do the customizations. Now, I've been doing some decaling and stuff. This is the last of my World War II planes that I've got to decal, except for there's a few that I don't have the right decals for. So I just finished painting these ones today though. So all the painting is done. I've just got some decaling on, probably about 30-40 planes. And I've done the Americans as far as the units go. And here, like this is just one of the British units that I did. That's a 3D printed unit. You can see the decal on the back there. But putting decals on planes is one thing, because you got the flight stand, right? And it takes you two hands to do it. Here, let me pause this for a second. I want to set it up. Okay, so I picked myself up one of these things. I looked all over trying to find something like that. And my mistake was that I was looking in the hobby sections, trying to find something, whereas this thing here was in more of it's an electrical thing. Like here, it's for soldering here, like this thing here. This is where this thing here is what you put your soldering gun in, right? But I just moved that out of the way. Like this is for motherboards. You could clip motherboards on with these clips here and then do it that way. It's got a really good magnifying glass on it, right? So you can see what you're doing. Here, let me just set this up now. I want to show you. Now, when you're doing planes, let me just grab one of those planes. When you're decaling a plane, it takes you two hands to decal something. Is that in the picture there? Yeah, okay, good. So it takes you two hands to do something. You need one hand with your tweezers on the decal, right? So you got your decal in your hand. After, like, I'm not gonna do it. This is, these haven't been soaked in water yet. So they're water slide decals. So you kind of need to hold the decal, right? In one hand, and you need to slide it off. I use these things here. These are makeup things. I think they're eyeshadow or something like that. I don't know, I'm not a girl, right? But anyway, you slide the decals off then once they're wet, right? And it works pretty good. And the fact that you've got a little stand, if you have a stand, I mean, I've got these flight stands from my friend in Toronto there, War Torn. But anyway, so it works okay with them. But what I found was just a total pain in the ass was trying to do an armor unit like this, right? So that's what I needed this piece for, because you kind of need three hands to do it. So here's my third hand here. One thing that is important though, and is you need to get a little piece of, because you could, with these little clips here, you could wreck the piece, right? So what you do is like if I wanted to put the decal on the side of this thing, I just wrap it up like that, right? And then I can put it in this clip here. And then I can look through the magnifying glass and then I've got two hands free. I've got a decal on there and I'm sliding the decal off with this thing, right? Like I can actually do it, and then I can move the decal around with whatever I need to do. I can change the angle. Like I can do just about whatever I want with this thing, right? So it works really well. Now I looked a lot and I was looking at Amazon because I couldn't really find anything here in town. And all of the things that I found, you read the reviews on them, and they all said that they topple over, right? Because this thing here was made out of plastic. I bought this at an automotive store here in town. It's called Princess Auto, and this thing's made out of metal. So this thing is really heavy. Like if I was to go like this with one of those plastic ones, it would fall over. But this thing here, I mean, it's hard to lift it up. It's pretty heavy, right? So it works perfectly for doing the decaling. I don't really need it for planes, but man, like I did my entire American Army in one afternoon with this thing. Whereas it took me 15 minutes and 3 different decals to put this one on. You wouldn't think it would be that hard, but how do you do it with only 2 hands? Like you're trying to, especially if you're trying to put it on the side, right? You're trying to hold it. Okay, I've got the decal and I've got the thing, but how do I slide it off? I need a 3rd hand, right? Or then you're trying with 2 hands to do it, and then who holds the piece? Nobody, right? So this thing worked out really, really good. Anyway, that's awesome. Love that thing. So let's move that to the side. So there's all kinds of stuff, and it's got a light on it and everything. I love these boxes for drying pieces because wood is porous, right? And so it helps drying. If you were to put it on metal or plastic or something, then your pieces stick to it, whereas they don't stick to wood quite as badly. Here's what I was talking about. It's these things here, these pads that have been cut up, and that's what my tripod that I showed you that my son made. Like I just cut little circles out of these things, right? And they're nice and slidey, but that's what you would put underneath furniture on a floor like this, right? Anyway, so these things are essential. Before I got some of these, it was really hard to do magnets. For one thing, putting magnets on planes and stuff. This is non-metallic, and I looked everywhere. I could not find them. Makeup departments in drugstores and things like that. Finally, what I did, I went on Amazon and typed in non-metallic tweezers, and I got a pack of 11 for like $14 or something, and that's Canadian, right? Then you got your paints, right? And I got all my different implements there. I showed you those things there, and different sizes of paintbrushes. Just everything, all the kinds of stuff that I use. And you know, when I've got lots of tools and stuff, I used to have to go hunting whenever I wanted some. And so finally what I did was the stuff that I need for this hobby, I just got myself a little thing. So I've got magnets in here. I've got the little magnets over here. I've got the little nails that I use for carriers. These are flags, right? So I got all kinds of stuff in there. And then inside, this is where I keep the stuff that I use. You know, like this is that's for scraping off the flashing. I got the little knife, and you know, just all the different things, little tweezers and things like that. This thing here, this has got flame. I don't know if it's filled right now, but oh no, I need butane in it. Anyway, so that thing, I can use it to heat up if I want to melt something. You know, rather than using a blowtorch, which is just overkill, right? Just an accident waiting to happen. And this thing here, this is when I just do some normal painting. It's got a light on it, and it's just good for my old eyes, right? I can do it. So I don't need something to hold on to when I'm doing painting. If I was to do detailed painting, you know, like painting faces on little pieces and things like that, then I would probably use this thing here, something that can hold it steadier. But the fact that I'm just, you know, just color coding my units like this thing here is good enough, right? Like I can hold my piece and just paint it with that thing. And the other type of painting I do is just spray painting, right? And I do that outside. And there's all my little paints and everything. One thing, you know, you can buy, if you're using these kind of paints, you can buy the little trays, right? That you dip your paintbrush in, or you can just use a drugstore thing, you know, like from my old pill bottle, right? All my old pill bottles, I just keep the lids, and then I can use them. That's the thing that you put over top of your decals, like put it down before and after you do the decaling. I got all my decals and things in here, lids, and just all the tiny little implements that I use, right? all the little tools that I use. I could use a smaller set of scissors. The scissors are a bit of overkill, but whatever. Better too much than too little, right? Anyway, let's go back to the war room there. So I'm almost finished my World War II pieces, and then I've got to do my World War I pieces. I was trying to get the World War II pieces done just in case they opened the border and we were going to have 2 tables going for the spring offensive. But it does not look like we're going to be able to do that. It looks like we're going to have 6 players, and we know who's playing what. I'm going to be playing Russia, and next year, next spring, we'll do it where there will be more people coming. But anyway, I was trying to get the World War II pieces done. So Panzer King and I both had, nice pieces that are deckled and everything. And anyway, so now I'm as soon as I finish that, I'm going to work on the World War I pieces. And there's not nearly as many to do, right? Because each nation only has a few tanks and a few planes. And well, I guess I'll do the balloons and the Zeppelins, but that's about it, right? I'm not going to put decals on the infantry or the cavalry or anything like that. So, and then after the spring offensive is over, I'll see if anybody is sticking around afterwards. We'll go to the lake if it's hot. If it's not hot, then maybe we'll do another play test of this game. This is a play test that's been going on between Robert and I for a couple of months now. I think I'm going to clean up this board though, so that I can use this space. Him and I are pretty busy right now, so we haven't gotten back into playtesting for a while. It's been set up like this for quite a while. Anyway, the game is coming along really, really well, and it'll be out before you know it. So watch for that. But these things, that's what this video is about. All the little implements and stuff that I use. And don't forget about the chopstick. That's what I used to point at. Everybody needs a pointing stick. Anyway, so that's me today, and today is the solstice, longest day of the year, and the first day of summer. So happy summer, everyone. Take care. General Hand Grenade out.